Started. Are we on? Great. Welcome to the Village Board meeting for Monday, March 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m. We're in the Village Hall Boardroom. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Trustee Mishler, would you share with us the land acknowledgement, please?
Sure will. Before we begin this evening, we would like to recognize the Seneca Nation on whose ancestral territory we are gathering. The present-day village of Fairport sits on traditional Seneca land. The Seneca Nation, with the Mohawk, Cayuga, Onondaga, Oneida, and Tuscarora, make up the sovereign Haudenosaunee Confederacy. With respect, we acknowledge the people of the Seneca Nation on whose land we now live. We honor their past, present, and future contributions to and stewardship of this land.
Thank you. Village Manager White, would you take roll call, please?
Sure. Trustee Wyka?
Here.
Trustee Banoski?
Hello.
Trustee Mishler?
Here.
Trustee Briggs?
Here.
Mayor Domeratz?
Here. That will take us to Citizens Forum at 6:02. I've seen that there are a couple people signed up, but if there's anybody who hasn't had an opportunity to sign up, the sheet's right over on the table. There's a pen right there. If you want to just list your name on there, and then I'm going to grab the sheet, and we'll go right from the sheet. And just while that's happening, guidelines for public comment. The public may speak during the Citizens Forum. Speakers must be recognized by the presiding officer. They must step to the front of the room to the microphone. Limit their remarks to 5 minutes. They may not yield remaining time to another speaker. Board remarks should be addressed to the board as a body and not to individual board members. And speakers must observe the commonly accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, dignity, and good taste. Interested parties or their representatives may address the board as well through written communications. And not that I think this is a problem this evening, but I'll just throw it in there. Disruptive behavior will not be tolerated. Not likely to be a situation tonight. With that, Ed Bradford, if you'd like to come on up and just state your name at the microphone, and while I have it in front of me, go ahead and just state your address for the recording.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ed Bradford. I live at 12 Lavender Circle in Fairport. I live in the town of Parenton, but I have had a business in the village for 23 years, Liftbridge Financial. I'm a financial advisor in the box factory. For those that don't know me, I have had a business in the village for 23 years. Been a member of the FPMA for 23 years, president of the FPMA for 6, 4 years as treasurer, 23 years on the Fairport Canal Days Committee. I served as chairman of Canal Days Committee for 12 years, and for good measure, I'm in my 7th year as on the Town of Parenton Planning Board. During that time, I've worked with 4 police chiefs, 3 mayors, 2 FMC directors, 2 village managers, 3 heads of DPW. The last 2 village meetings, I think there's been a lot of focus on the negative impacts of festivals here in the village. I would like to focus on the positives, such as economic, tax revenue, and community desirability. Canal Days weekend brings in between 200 and 250,000 people to our village every year. Our surveys suggest a family of 4 spends between $100 and $150 when they come here for the day. Conservatively, we estimate between $10 and $20 million changes hands over that weekend. When we've done surveys with our Fairport merchants a few years ago, we asked them what the busiest weekends for them during the year are. The results were as followed. Number 1 was Canal Days weekend. Number 2 was Fairport Music Festival. Number 3 was Oktoberfest in conjunction with Scarecrow Festival. Number 4 was FPMA Home for the Holidays, the weekend that Santa comes into town. At your last meeting, the mayor, I think multiple times, stated that the taxpayers should not bear the burden to pay for services of the festival, and I fully agree with that. But in 2024, the village received over $2.1 million in sales tax credits. I'm here to state that I believe that the taxpayer does not pay the burden. I believe that the consumer does. The festival brings the people. No one here is going to dispute that. The people are paying for goods and services, and they're paying sales taxes. The taxes are being returned to the village in credits each month, and the final step is the village is providing the services to allow these events to continue. The taxpayer is not paying the burden. The consumer is paying it, period, full stop. The FPMA is doing its job to stimulate the business. The village is doing its job by supporting the organizations that are supporting the community. Essentially, don't bite the hand that's feeding the community. Before we even start the weekend, it costs $130,000 to run Canal Days. I promise you, we can't reach a point where we tip the scales, where we no longer can afford to do these festivals anymore. There's going to be a point where it's just not worth doing them anymore. Festivals around Rochester are already shutting its doors. Please don't add us and other festivals to the list. Imagine the complaints that you'll receive if that happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Jim Tulloch. Hi, Mr. Tulloch.
Hi. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Good evening.
Hi.
Actually, I'm going to build onto the previous presentation. Surprise, surprise. I was in the audience for the board's February work session. A major topic was planning and preparation for the 3 major festivals held in our village. I thought the discussion was outstanding. While the goal appears to be the establishment of consistent set of guidelines and responsibilities for everyone, as members of the community, what comes through loud and clear was the complexity and of the work-intensive requirements necessary to put these events on. Kudos to the police, DPW, fire, and village administrators who devote large swaths of time and energy to making these events run smoothly and successfully, and the village does it 3 times a year. What became evident is the need for vendors and other participants to help reduce the burden of the village by conforming to guidelines and regulations and assume some additional financial responsibility for expenses currently absorbed by the village. This is a fine line to walk. I've never given thought to the damage done to our infrastructure when tents are erected or additional costs to the community when vendors come late and several of our village employees need to come back to work to accommodate them. As a village resident, I never thought about the amount of overtime the village absorbs during these festivals and our staff who give up their family time to make these celebrations happen. I never thought about clearing the parking lots, providing power to vendors, the convenience or inconvenience to our local merchants, the cleanup afterwards. Who thinks about barriers from Buffalo? And who is responsible for turning the parking lot into a grassy infield overnight? Most uplifting was the goal of the discussion, how to make things better going forward. Heard a strong commitment to continue to organize and facilitate these festivities in our village. The discussion was informative, productive, and supportive. Our festivals make Fairport a destination place 3 times a year, minimally. In turn, they showcase the village and make Fairport arguably the envy of other towns and villages. You're so right to discuss this topic in public. It was important. The festivals are an important part of the fabric of Fairport. More residents should have heard that conversation. From now on, I most assuredly will never take for granted how well our festivals are run. There are a lot of work, so a big thanks with much appreciation for your support for the festivals and for the dedication of our village staff who just make it work. 3 times a year. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Okay. Nancy?
Hi, everybody. Nancy Regis. Live at 15 Pacabo Drive, but also Executive Director of the Fairport Parrington Partnership. I'm going to follow suit. I'd like to just say a couple of things about the wonderful points that were brought up at last month's meeting about the festivals. I've been, like Ed, working with Canal Days since 2005. Took a little hiatus, but I'm back. Oktoberfest as well. So the experience of watching how the teamwork between the village and our organizations has evolved over the years has been wonderful, because along with the many meetings that we have with the different the police department, ambulance, village hall, it's just it's been a wonderful partnership in making all of this come together for the community. Ed stated some wonderful elements about statistics of money and, how that affects the community. I've also got some other data that I'll be able to share with you once I've finished compiling it, but it shows that these festivals are attracting people from all over Western New York and all the way to Albany. And then there are some that are coming from New York City and Boston. And so this is an impact beyond just our little community of Monroe County. So it's a wonderful way to showcase Fairport, and we're all happy to be a part of it. Love the idea of creating that application process so that it's uniform, easy for everybody on your end who has to follow those, who's doing what. I think that's a wonderful idea. I'm looking forward to having a sit-down, possibly, is what I would love, is to bring the different organizations, as we've done in the past, sit down now and go through those individual elements that were talked about. Just like Mr. Tulloch mentioned, it's like, we do utilize some of the services of our local organizations, but we're also, paying for some of them as well. So we want to make sure that, we're not taking an advantage. That's, as far as I'm aware, anything that's needed to be paid for, we have, and we will continue to work through that. So if we could possibly set down a meeting, whether it's a work session or something, where some of us organizers could sit down with all of you. You can ask us all those detailed questions that you're not going to ever understand when you're just, attending a festival. So at whatever convenience you have, we'll make ourselves available. We'd love to just, go through the application. And if there's any questions that we have, give us an opportunity to make sure we understand what you need from us. And, we appreciate that. And also, I want to just on a separate note, thank Mayor Julie for, this is totally separate, for reaching out to the Canal Corporation and requesting the lighting in honor of Coach Santini. Last night's pictures were outstanding. It's going to happen again this evening. So I appreciate you, following through on the request.
Sure, no
because
problem.
it was an exciting thing to know that it happened. So we appreciate that. But if we could just, stay connected, figure out when you want to get together, we'll all be there. So, thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. I'll let Village Manager White manage setting up any meetings. It probably wouldn't be with the board. It would probably be with whomever from village staff that he determined, whether it's, just to explain what we're asking for.
Sure. I imagine that, some of you have questions that, to clarify. So you're welcome to, meet with me at, Junction 361 or any of us, or we could all, just share this information. So don't hesitate, and I'm happy to reach out to you as well. The other thing I'd like to also is thank you, Brian, as well as Mayor Julie and Jason. Last week, we had a meeting over at the Railroad Street Artworks where we were able to have the businesses who are on Main Street hear exactly what's coming up with the streetscape and ask any questions that they had. So we really appreciate your time reaching out and joining us on that. All right, so thank you.
I feel confident as soon as we know more
Yeah,
than what we know right now, that
Yeah.
we'll set something up to make sure that we keep everybody updated.
perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Ian, come on up.
All right.
Same theme. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
You know me, I'm Ian Winter. I'm one of the chairs of Canal Days here. Lydia couldn't make it tonight, so I'm kind of speaking for our festival, but I'm going to speak to what Ed and what every other speaker has spoken to so far. So I just want to point out that I'm not here to speak against some sort of festival application. I'm kind of shocked it doesn't exist already. But really specifically item 5 regarding chargebacks to festival and event organizers. Right off the bat, Ed alluded to it. Festivals in our region have been dying due to increased costs, lack of volunteers, lack of local municipal support. Hot Air Balloon Fest in Dansville, Park Ave Fest, we all know. Palmyra Canal Days shuttered last year. Irondequoit Oktoberfest shuttered after COVID. There's plenty more, but those are the big ones, and I'll stop there. To allude to what Ed also mentioned, you know, the Village of Fairport received a sales tax credit of roughly $200 million in the 2024 fiscal year. A recent, I think 2 or 3 year-old merchant survey shows that the 4 best weekends they have of the year are Canal Days, Music Fest, Oktoberfest, come home for the holidays. That $200 million is a significant amount of money being funneled directly into the village, and a lot of that is coming from those weekends that wouldn't be here otherwise. It's worth noting. Each festival and community also, unlike a lot of events around the Rochester area, are for charitable causes. None are 100% for profit. And Canal Days, obviously, we raise money for the FPMA. That supports our local small businesses, raising funds for smaller events that the FPMA puts on. The duck race during Canal Days supports the public art organization, which I know everyone here likes. You're all staunch supporters of. And then just general Fairport community marketing. We also have a giving committee. We donate every year to a cause. The cause changes every year. A couple years ago, before I was even in an official position, I was just doing, let's be honest, just moving kegs around at Canal Nights. But we gave money to the high school to update the scoreboard at the football field. Last year, we gave a donation to update the sound system in the theater. So we do a lot around here for the community as a whole, not just for the FPMA. Obviously, we all know Fairport Music Fest gives to Golisano Children's Hospital. Oktoberfest is the partnership event, and their initiatives help promote Fairport in general through a million different ways that I don't have time to list. The question I'd really pose here is, like how Monroe County runs the Lilac Festival, which is a government-run event of similar scope to Music Fest or Canal Days, what would the cost be for the village to operate and plan such a festival in the same magnitude as either of those? I can just speak to Canal Days, but we have the equivalent of 10 annual part-time employees who volunteer and organize this event at no cost. Completely, just we do it all on our own because we love living here and we love bringing 250,000 people into the village every year. The current overhead of such an undertaking of Canal Days or Music Fest would really dwarf the increase in public services currently being provided by the village over those weekends. I spoke with some officials around the east side of Rochester who host similar community events. We're lucky here. We have some of the biggest outside of like Jazz Fest at this point, but Honeoye Falls does not charge back departmental costs for or shared services for events in their community. And I spoke with my colleague in Webster, but she does not believe they do either. I'd be happy to follow up and let you know when I can confirm that, but I'm pretty positive. The benefit of these events drastically outweighs the minimal increase in public services throughout the weekend that would already be provided regardless. And with the existing economic climate, these increase in chargebacks can threaten the solvency of any volunteer-operated festival, not just in our community and not just Canal Days. In closing, I think we need to remember, people come to Fairport and flock to Fairport due to the variety of our festivals, the excellence of our festivals, our shops, our restaurants, our recreational activities. And really, I just hope this agenda item can be tabled until we can have a collaborative discussion with all the festival organizers. I've been in your shoes. I worked for the government. I know you got to balance budgets. I know everything's getting expensive for everybody, but it needs to be a collaborative approach here, working with, the 4 biggest events in our community. That's my piece. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. I'll thank everybody who came this evening. I know the Tullochs left already, for coming in and speaking. I just want to clarify something. We don't get direct credits back for any kind of sales tax. The way that happens is all the collective sales tax from Monroe County, whether it's the city, the towns, the villages, go through Monroe County, and there's a formula that's used to determine how much credit we get in sales tax, and it's done on a quarterly basis. So I just wanted to clarify that. We don't get credit for X amount of dollars. It all just goes into one pot, and there's a formula that the county follows to determine how much people get back in sales tax. So just to clarify that. If there's nobody else who is going to get up and speak, I will close citizens forum. And if you want better explanation on that, I have the slides that came from the county that I shared with Village Manager White. I'd be happy to share them, but the experts are at the county on how they use that formula. And it's a formula that was set up, it's from the Morin, it's like the Morin-Ryan formula. So it's been around for a long time because it's Lucian Morin and I think when Tom Ryan was mayor of the city. So it's not something new. But thank you again for sharing all of your feedback. We really appreciate it. With that, at 6:22, I will close citizens forum. Okay. And that will take us to move on to unfinished business, which item number 1 is a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of the January 13th village organizational meeting. Okay, so before I go through these, let's go ahead and who was not here for the organizational meeting? Okay, so Adam was not here for that. He's going to abstain. When we get to motion 2, which is the meeting minutes for that meeting, Adam needs to abstain. When we get to January 22nd, that's Emily, and is there anybody else who missed that meeting? Okay, and then February 10th, we were all here for that, correct? No.
It was just you, me, and Tracy.
Oh,
Which is why we couldn't.
that's right. That's why we couldn't do it. So that's Heidi and Emily. All right, thanks. That just makes it clear, so when we do this, it'll go quicker. All right, item number 1, can I have a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of January 13th, 2025 village organizational meeting?
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
Second.
by trustee Wojka. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone abstaining?
Yep.
And anyone voting no? Okay, so that's going to be 4 yes, 1 abstain. All right, and then item number 2 is a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of January 13th, 2025 village board meeting. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Trustee Mishler,
Second.
trustee Briggs, and any questions? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
I'm not one of the cool kids.
Okay, so that's 4 yes and 1 abstain. And then we go to item number 3, which is a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of January 22nd, 2025 village board work session.
So moved.
By trustee Wojka,
Second.
by trustee Briggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I'm
Wait, I'm getting to you. Anybody abstaining?
abstaining. Emily Mishler's abstaining.
Okay, we got that. All right, here's the really tough one. I need a motion by the village board to approve the meeting minutes of February 10th, 2025 village board meeting.
So moved.
By trustee Briggs,
Second.
by trustee Panowski. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining?
Aye.
Aye.
So that's 3 and 2, but we can do that because there's a full quorum here.
It's a 3-0 with 2 abstentions.
Okay. All right, there. That was. if you were here for those meetings, it was confusing those nights as well. All right, now that we got past that, time to move into new business. So item number 1 is a motion by the village board to set the public hearing on the full year 2025-2026 proposed budget and capital plan. The public hearing will be Wednesday, March 26th at 6 p.m. Before I ask for the motion in the second, Brian, do you want to adjust that motion? Because I think we're moving things around.
Yes, so before you on your desk is, we had our predetermined budget meeting schedule. Just due to some challenges we've had preparing the budget and getting it ready for next Tuesday's presentation. Before you is a new proposed schedule for your consideration. And should that be something you're agreeable to, I'd like to have the public hearing on March 31st versus that, but it kind of coincides with the schedule that's before you.
So the second part on that sheet, the red, under new schedule, the first meeting would be the 24th. The budget review meeting number 1 would be 26. The budget review and public hearing would be March 31st. The number 3 meeting would be April 1st, and then the budget adoption would be April 22nd.
Correct, and again, this is proposed, so what we didn't like about this, because we've had to adjust the schedule out a little bit, is between the presentation and your first review, you're only having 2 days to review it, which I'd like to have you have more time, like the original schedule had a week after the presentation for you to digest and go through it all. If that's something where you'd like to set up not having your first budget review meeting as a board 2 days after the budget presentation, if you want to move that to make it like the 31st for your first meeting, we can do that as well. It's really up to you about what your preference is and where your comfort's at.
How likely is it that we'll go into that third review meeting?
We're not going to. Oh, into the
No,
third review? I thought you meant
I'm
the third
already,
week.
like,
Don't worry, I
looking,
know
'cause-
you're out of town, so we will not,
No, not for that one.
yeah. I made sure that nothing got
I just have a
scheduled in.
conflict on the first if we do need that third review meeting.
Or we can always move it to a different date. It's up to you
Okay.
guys. I mean, this is not set in stone. I'm just looking at people's
Okay.
calendars and what's going on. If there's some, if you want to pull up your calendars now and take a look at
Yeah.
what your
I'm good
availability
with
is,
all of the,
we can adjust
yeah.
these accordingly. And if you want more time between the presentation and your ability to digest what's in that budget, because I know you're not going to run home and read through 300 pages of anything in a night. You're not. It's not practical. Give yourself more time to do that, and we can have your first review meeting to allow it to digest on the 31st if you'd like, and then we can have as many other meetings after that as you want.
So what we need to know, though, is if we're going to have that first meeting on the 31st, we need to move out the date on the public hearing, and we need to get an idea of, because Trustee Mishler can't be here for that April
I
1st.
personally am fine with the budget meeting being presented on the 24th and then our first review meeting being on the 26th.
It's up to you
If
guys.
I'm
about your
okay with
comfort.
that, is if,
Tracy, are you okay with that? Are you okay with the schedule?
Yes, because we have a deadline set by New York State, so I'd rather get started, and if we need to extend it on
We
the
can have as
other
many
end.
dates as you want on the
Right.
back end, as many as you want. We're meeting the state here. It's got to be technically the clerk's office, which it is, because her and I have been working together. On the 20th, it's got to be presented to you by April 1st, which obviously we're meeting that deadline, and it has to be adopted by May 1st. So we're meeting everything very well in advance, and like I said, we can always add more things that's come to, hey, we're kind of here, we'd like to look at this a little more, let's schedule another meeting. We can do that at any given time.
I'm good with that,
I
following
just feel bad because we've had to redo this, and now you're having to come in here and speak confidently about it 2 days after getting the presentation. It's just a challenging thing to do, but again, you have plenty of time to keep reviewing that, and we can keep adding more meetings as you feel appropriate.
I'm good.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could work too, because I
One-
mean,
one-
oh,
one
sorry.
second, let me just, the first is the only date that you are
yeah, I
unable
have
to
something
attend for?
scheduled at 7 PM on the 1st that really can't be rescheduled.
Okay, so,
But there's an hour there before that starts, so
um,
I say
If-
we,
if you are okay with it,
can we do that?
Ask
Can
your
we
colleagues.
can we just put it on the calendar for starting at 5 or 5:30 on the
I
1st?
could try.
Just so, if we do end
we
up
split the
needing that.
difference and make it
sure,
5:30?
Sure.
could you think you could be here at 5:30?
Yeah, I could do 5:30.
5:30?
And that way,
That's on the
just in case
April
I mean, I feel more comfortable having that third meeting set that we, so that we can have it if we need it.
Okay.
There's a lot to talk about.
So, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Trustee Briggs, are you okay with 5:30 on
Is is that gonna give you enough time to
Okay.
get to what you need to get to for
It's on
7 o'clock?
Zoom. So
Oh.
I can go right,
Oh,
I
okay.
can Zoom right there.
No, it's just because sometimes in my head I'll go like, oh, I got plenty of time. Oh, wait, there's the travel portion there.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I do, I'll just pop over there and give,
So-
thank you
Okay.
though for your consideration.
I think everybody's okay with the schedule, the new schedule that's been proposed, and that would change this motion that I'm going to ask for the board to consider
So I
to
would ask for
March 31st.
a motion to amend the motion before you to March 31st. and then-
Nobody made the motion.
Okay,
I'll make the motion to amend the original.
motion on the amendment, then you take, then you do
Okay,
another vote on the
so
motion.
can I have a motion to amend the original motion from the village board to set a public hearing for the full year 25-26 proposed budget and capital plan? The public hearing will be amended from March 26, 2025 to March 31st, 2025, and it will still start at 6 PM. Can I have that motion for that?
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
Second,
by trustee Briggs. Do we have to vote on this twice or just once?
I-
Twice or
John,
just
is
once?
it the amendment first and the motion? Yes, I thought, yep. So vote on the motion, which
Okay.
was the amendment.
Which is the amendment, and then you'll vote on the master resolution.
Okay, so this is a vote on the amendment. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And then, I need to read it again? Okay, all right.
Yes,
I'd like a motion by the village board to set the public hearing for the full year 2025-2026 proposed budget and capital plan. The public hearing will be held Wednesday, March 31st at 6 PM in the Village Hall Boardroom.
it's Monday, March 31st, but yes. Wouldn't it be?
Monday,
Yeah, it's okay.
Monday, March 31st.
So moved.
By trustee Mishler,
second.
by trustee Briggs. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Then that will be unanimous, and the public hearing will be set for Monday, March 31st at 6 PM here in the boardroom. We okay with that now? All right. That will take us to item number 2, which is a motion by the village board to authorize the annual Memorial Day Parade organized by the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 8495, subject to final approval by the village manager. The parade shall take place on Monday, May 26, 2025 at 10 a.m. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved?
By trustee Banowski,
Second.
by trustee Wojka. Discussion,
Gonna be
Brian?
lots of fun coordination on that one, huh?
Yeah, that meeting's being set up as we speak, but yeah, it'll be
Okay.
challenging, obviously, with streetscape and the Thomas Creek Bridge being out, so we're working through those details. And when I know something, I'll relay it all back to the board in a memo about what our plans are and what the intention is, but we just don't know what that is yet.
So I think we should just make it clear that the additional documents that are attached to this agenda do not reflect the current state of meetings between you and the VFW.
That's correct, that's the original request they make every year, but just due to obviously the physical restrictions this year in the traditional parade route, we'll have to amend that.
Okay,
Brian, you meet with the commander of the VFW, is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's a rotating position, correct? Who's,
It has been, Mike's been there for the last at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years, somewhere around there, a long time.
does a nice job.
Yep.
any other questions? Okay,
Can't
All
wait
in-
to hear how that goes.
all in
You'll be all
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Then that will be unanimous. The parade will be held, but the parade route may not be the traditional parade route. Which will take us to item number 3, which are some appointments. I'd like a motion by the village board to appoint to the planning board as an alternate member Amanda Fant through December 31st, 2029. As an alternate member also to the planning board, Sean Katko through December 31st, 2029. And then to the zoning board of appeals As an alternate member, Michael McCormick through December 31st, 2027. And as an alternate member to the Historic Preservation Commission, Andrew Deutsch through December 31st, 2029. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
By trustee Banowski,
Second.
by trustee Mishler. So Jill and I and the chairs of each one of these boards have met with these individuals and found them to be a great fit on these different boards and commissions. They'll be serving as alternate members, and should a position open up, then we'll have some well-trained alternates to fill that role.
Just out of curiosity, the alternate positions are they typically appointed during the organizational meeting? Just out of curiosity.
If there are people to be appointed, yes. But
Okay.
these were seats that
after.
we were, Jill was still in the process of setting up interviews for.
Okay.
So these continued through that time period, and I think all of these were settled at the end of January.
Got it. Thanks.
And they will go through the regular processes, just like any other volunteer board member. They will fill out all the handbook and their,
Ethics.
they'll go through and do the ethics training and conflict of interest and all the stuff that everybody else does.
Brian, you do that? All
Jill
that?
takes
Jill
care of
does
that.
Okay.
Jill manages all the volunteer boards.
Okay. We thank these individuals for volunteering their time.
Yeah.
I was just about to say a thank you, and thanks to you and Jill and for vetting them out, and all of the chairs of the various boards.
Yeah,
Because I know
it was great.
yeah, and that's great to have folks ready to go. Because the alternates, like, they don't vote, but they have a chance to see what's going on.
Absolutely. Okay, with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous and brings us to item number 4, which is, can I have a motion by the village board to authorize the payment of the audited bills? I'm looking your way at this end of the board.
So moved.
By trustee Moika,
Second.
by trustee Banowski. One of these days, I'm going to write it out for you.
No, we'll get it. It's more fun this way.
It's more fun, okay?
I have reviewed.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have reviewed the audited bills and found everything to be in order.
Yes, I've also reviewed the audited bills and found everything to be in order.
Nice job.
Thank you. Any questions from other board members?
Thank you for doing that.
One
It's
point
nice
nine
to
two
share
four
the
five.
responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can tell you
How many,
much.
what
how
is
much?
1.9245,
Yes,
and like a leaf.
yes, that is correct.
For anyone who's joining us
Sorry.
after the
You're
fact
amazing.
or in the audience, that's how much compost was delivered to Impact Earth for January, February?
February.
For February.
Diverted from that landfill.
Yeah.
Talking
Nice
about
work.
Spain.
Okay.
Even during the frozen, I'm sure you've all experienced taking frozen compost and trying to get it out of the bucket. It's really fun.
Okay, with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? That will be unanimous. Item number 5 is a motion by the village board to amend the previously approved amount of $60,000 to pay health and dental insurance premiums paid in the month of March to $50,555.86.
So moved.
By trustee Banowski,
Second,
by trustee Wojka. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Anyone opposed? That'll be unanimous. And then item number 6 is a motion by the village board to authorize the clerk treasurer to pay health and dental insurance premiums for the month of April in an initial estimated amount not to exceed $60,000, subject to audit and amending authorization by the village board at their regularly scheduled April meeting.
So moved.
By trustee
Mishler.
Mishler.
Second, trustee Briggs.
Just one of those little glitches.
Happens all the time to me, so I completely understand.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? And then that takes us to announcements and committees. I'm gonna read something first that goes along with the fact that we were presented for another year the citation of Tree City USA. This is the information that came from the Arbor Day Foundation with that. Congratulations on your achievement. The Arbor Day Foundation is proud to celebrate your dedication to urban and community forestry. This year, as our brand has evolved, so too have the materials you'll find in this recognition package. Designed with a fresh, modern look, they symbolize our ongoing commitment to supporting the impactful work you do. While the appearance may be new, the importance of your efforts remain unchanged. The recognition materials in this box, so we received, did we get a new flag, Brian? I think there
Yes, we
was-
generally get one every year with our new certification.
Yeah, so we received a new flag with this. We hope that they will serve as a lasting reminder of the difference that you're making in the world. Thank you for your continued partnership and for all you do to enhance the urban forest landscape. With gratitude, the Arbor Day Foundation. So we received that a couple of weeks ago, and I promised that I would share that accomplishment at the meeting tonight. I think I'll be meeting with some other groups. I was at the FMC meeting this morning. I don't know that there was, actually, I have my notes. I'll just give a couple highlights of where we are in the replacement of the meters. So of the meters in the town of Perrington and the village of Fairport, 12,724 are done. There's 4,300 left to go. And primarily what's left are small and large commercial. And the original plan was to do about 150 meters a week, I think they said.
Correct.
They ended up changing about 200 meters on households and businesses a week. And last week, they were actually exceeding 300 meters that they were changing in the week. So it's moving really fast, and hopefully we'll be done a little bit ahead of what the original plans were, since they're moving so quickly. And other than that, Fairport Electric is going through a big software update that it's the same company that they've been using for their software, but it has a back office impact for accounts payable, work orders, electronic time cards, financials, and that's hoped to be completed in May. And then there's also customer-facing software that they're hoped to be completed with that switchover and update by mid-June. So they've been working on this for like 3 years, right?
Correct.
Okay. So that was my excitement from attending the FMC meeting this morning. I know you have something from OSED if you want to hit the highlights. Trustee Mishler?
Well, it was really nice. It was, the board was well represented at the OSED meeting this month. Both Trustee Briggs, myself, and the mayor attended that meeting. It was a great meeting, but and I'm trying to be better about just documenting the notes and then just sending it out to the board, because there's a lot of details in those meetings. But something of note is the Rose Hollow Senior Complex was recently purchased, has a new owner. It's an LLC, and the new owner is interested in converting Rose Hollow to luxury apartments. And today, that housing complex is mostly housing for seniors on a reduced income. So, it's concerning what potentially might be what might happen with that, those homes. It's been there for about 30 years. It was created through the Fairport Baptist Home in partnership with them. So OSED is watching that closely, and they're looking into the actual deed on the property to see if there is some sort of documentation in there saying that it was created to remain affordable housing. So Jen is researching that with the OSED board. What else? I don't have to do all.
No,
Yeah, I sent the notes out, but I thought that was something of note.
I think
Do you want to speak to the governor's potential 75-day
Yeah,
moratorium?
so I
I'll let you
think I
speak to that.
mentioned it at our last meeting, but I think that has an implication here. And I actually sent a letter of support to the governor's office through our local rep that to continue to support that 75-day moratorium that's proposed on corporations purchasing residential housing, that there's a moratorium proposed for 75 days to allow actual people to buy housing versus having, so this is single up to 3-family housing. We're not talking about apartment complexes, but to allow individuals to actually buy houses versus LLCs and corporations to buy housing and to have the first ability to purchase them. Unfortunately, that's a really disappointing story with Rose Hollow because they've been a great member and in our community and tied in with the SOFI program, the senior housing program, through the local community churches. So we'll have to keep an eye on it, but
On a separate note, Prop Me Up had a wonderful ribbon cutting ceremony with the Merchants Association. That was, I think, about a couple weeks ago now at this point, but fantastic new shop in the village. I actually brought my peace lily that had not flowered since I was given it as a gift, hoping that she could bring some life back to it. Ms. Caswell is hopefully doing that for me. I haven't yet to pick the lily up, but we will see. So we welcome them to our community. The student representative program is something I'm really proud of and am working hard to continue supporting. I have been in search of a new representative to join our board, and we actually did interview a young gentleman, junior at Fairport High School this evening, and we are crossing our fingers that he liked us and wants to stay on our board. So we shall hear back by the end of the week. So
that's great.
if you see a gentleman sitting right next to our John Mancuso over there during our next meeting, we have found someone. And if not, we'll keep looking.
Trustee Briggs, did you have anything that you'd like to share?
Yep, I also went to the Merchants Association monthly meeting. I did not go to the Streetscape meeting. I met with Jana, and we had coffee and conversation, and she's got some great ideas to collaborate with OSED in the village moving forward. That was a great talk. I mean, we're lucky and welcome. I attended the Canal Society Winter Symposium. And again, Jana was there, Nancy, and a bunch of other locals. And it's just wonderful for me to try to see all the different levels that are part of the canal. You know, not just the society, and then there's the state, and there's the heritage, and there's the gateway. And it's just wonderful to hear about that and meet people. And the bicentennial is coming, so I'm sure you're going to hear lots of that between now and September. Then I attended the Savor of the Flavor of Fairport. It's their 15th annual event. Yep, saw Emily there. Absolutely. And it's hosted by Rotary, and it is a fundraiser, and then all the proceeds of that event go to 30 different local charities. So that's a great event. I had some residents reach out, so we all got together for coffee and chatted. I volunteered at the Kaylee Irish Fest that's hosted by the partnership, and it was at the VFW. Worked collaboratively, and OSED showed up in the afternoon. Huge shout out to our volunteer firemen. There was quite a few of them. They volunteered their time on a Saturday morning for many hours and cooked pancakes and sausages, and So that was great, another wonderful event. And that is a fundraiser, but I don't remember what sticker. Okay. Hadestown, huge success. We're a big theater music family. And that was this past weekend. And my daughter went 2 different nights. And so I felt like I was there by the time she got home and shared. But just Fairport has such strong commitment to the arts. And between the music programs and then the theater starting and at Joanna Perrin and then at the middle schools. And by the time they get to high school, I mean, it's almost off-Broadway worthy. I mean, just outstanding. And again, that the merchants and the Fairport Public Arts contributed good chunk of money and updated all of the music sound systems and mics and all of that. This Thursday, March 13th, the annual art show from the Fairport School District. That's a K-12 show. That opening night is this Thursday at, I think, 6 o'clock at Parrington Square. And that'll be up for 2 weeks. So it'll be up till Thursday, the 27th. And you can go in and view, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of pieces of artwork during regular mall hours. And lastly, the Fairport Parrington Chamber of Commerce is hosting their annual State of Us luncheon. It's the Village, Parrington, and the school district will have an opportunity to speak and bring residents in the community up to date. That is next Wednesday, the 9th, at the DeLand House. 19th. From 11 to 1. And I didn't realize until recently that it is absolutely open to anyone who wishes to attend and to hear, so residents, if you work here, if you're curious, you want to hear what's happened this past year and vision going forward from the village, the town, and the schools. Tickets are available on the chamber website. You do have to buy your own lunch, but you'll be surrounded with great company. I will not be there this year. I'm on the college schedule now, so we're leaving, because we had that Tuesday, the 18th budget meeting. We're leaving at 5 a.m. Wednesday. And we're doing some family stuff. We're going to Broadway for a few days and checking out lots of theater. So I'm missing it this year. But it's great. Go talk to people.
Okay, I'm going to head down this way. Is anything that either of you would like to share? Other than how much compost we put?
We already hit the compost. That's all I got for today.
Okay.
I'll take the compliment on the good company. You can hang out with me.
Same.
Okay. So if that's it for committee announcements and reports, our upcoming village board meeting. So I'm going to move to the new schedule. The budget presentation will be Monday, March 24th at 6 p.m. All of these meetings are here in the Village Hall. Budget review meeting number 1 will be Wednesday, March 26th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Budget review meeting number 2 and the public hearing will be Monday, March 31st, 2025 at 6 p.m. here. And if necessary, budget review meeting number 3 will be Monday, March 31st at 5:30. I'm sorry, April 1st, 2025 at 5:30 versus 6 p.m. And the proposed budget adoption will be April 22nd at 6 p.m. All meetings will be held in Village Hall, 31 South Main Street, Fairport, New York, in the second floor boardroom. Item number 9 will be a motion to enter executive session. So we'll be entering executive session so that anybody who may be viewing online or that may be in the room, you're welcome to stick around, but we're not going to do any more business after we exit executive session. We'll immediately move for a motion to adjourn. So just so you know, if you don't need to stick around because we're not going to do anything after we exit executive session. So with that, item number 9 is a motion by the village board to enter executive session to discuss a proposed acquisition, sale, or lease of real property. By trustee Briggs,
Second.
by trustee Banowski. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? We will move to executive session, and then once we exit executive session, we will come back out and adjourn the meeting. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for your comments. We appreciate hearing.